All right, drop shipping. It's a hot word. It's kind of the get rich quick scheme of nowadays, right? You see on YouTube and on Instagram and all that, the people saying, just I started my drop ship store and in 20 days I was making 10 million a year. It doesn't really work like that. This is probably no surprise to you that it doesn't really work like that. But drop shipping is a powerful tool. I'm going to walk you through some of the options you have for drop shipping for your store, how you can drop ship yourself, how you can be the drop shipper, or utilize drop shipping from other people. And hopefully by the end of this, you're going to get a good idea of how the dropship ecosystem works, like where products come from in the world. So let me walk you through the top left here. It's Oberlo. Oberlo was kind of the first to the scene, especially in the Shopify space. They generally speaking, they made their money pre-COVID is when they came about, but fulfilling directly from China. Now, as you can imagine, during the COVID time, their business model really took a big hit because China, they closed manufacturing, closed shipping, closed warehouses. So what you could do with Oberlo for the longest time was I could set up a Shopify store, and I'm not kidding, within 20 minutes, you could log in, create a Shopify account, put in your information, change a few things on a website, and you can be actively drop shipping. You can still do that. In 20 minutes, you can be live, you can be selling. That's the cool part about it, but that's also the con. When things are that easy, you get a crowded space. It's very, very crowded. So there's tons of people out there that have Oberlo stores and other, I'm gonna walk you through some of the other ones, but have little drop shipping stores that, the guy on YouTube said I can make $10 million, so I made 10 of them, and they're all over the place. So the downside with that is the fulfillment comes directly from China. So since it's coming directly from China, it's 2-3 week lead time for these orders. So it's not great for the customer. They're not going to be happy with that. You get pretty high, where's my order rate, pretty high return rate. And what do you do about it? Well, you can try another service. So what came out of that, Oberlo, Spocket came after it, not Sprocket, but Spocket came after it. These are all Shopify apps, which is why I'm using these examples specifically. But what they kind of did is something similar, but you can pick suppliers near you. So let's say you're a store in Germany. You can pick other suppliers in the European Union that are similar to your brand. So let's just say you want to start a little fashion brand. You could pick a hat supplier from over here, or you could pick a shoe supplier from over here. Maybe they're in Spain. You got a hat supplier, they're in Italy. And I could ship to my customers here in Germany pretty quickly, right? They're all in the European Union. They're pretty local. The same applies to North America. Maybe I'm Canadian. I could just find some Canadian manufacturers using Spocket. So that's kind of where they kind of leveled up from Oberlo. That was the core problem, was the shipping times. So they've kind of solved that. The pro is, I've got it listed out here. The pro is you can pick suppliers near you, but the con is you're reliant on third parties. Your whole business is based around third parties. If you've picked good suppliers, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you've been in business for 6 months and your suppliers have pretty good lead times and the products come well, then there's really no problem. But just like I mentioned before, it's easy. And so the drop shipping space is crowded. The products that you're going to choose on these apps, there's going to be 10 other stores, 100 other stores out there that are advertising the same thing. They're in Google Shopping for the same thing. They're advertising on Instagram ads for the same thing. I've mentioned this a few different times. If you're gonna go this route, create some value. Don't just sell the product. Find a way to create some value. Maybe you are a content-first website. Maybe you're just a content website and you don't actually want to sell products. You don't want to deal with selling products. So you have a whole shopping tab and all of the products that you sell there are all dropship because you just want to be in the business of creating content. And now you can monetize that content that you create by appearing to be somewhat of a store. It's perfectly valid. It's a perfectly valid way, but just to reiterate, create some real value if you're going to go drop shipping. So a question that I've received a lot is, okay, well, so Oberlo and Spocket, they're great. Maybe I ship from China. That's all good and well, but let's say I already have a supplier. I already have people that I work with, and I want to use my Shopify store and I want to drop ship from them. I don't want to, every time someone orders, I don't want to have to pick up the phone and call them. Well, there's apps out there that do that as well. So one I've highlighted here, there's other apps. One that I've enjoyed, I've used with multiple companies it's called Duoplane. And so What they do is they create a dropshipping system that integrates with other people's Shopify stores. And if your supplier doesn't have Shopify, it'll just send them an email. But basically, right when an order comes in, it sends the order straight to your supplier. It passes through the shipping information. It passes through the SKUs that were ordered. It goes straight to your supplier, and now your supplier fulfills it. So it's completely hands-off dropshipping, just like these other options. But the difference is I'm now using my suppliers. I'm setting up my suppliers to do this. I'm not having to use all the same people that everybody else is using. So that's where that becomes really cool. You can establish relationships even with people that may not be selling online. You can say, hey, you walk into their store and you say, hey, I want to use you to dropship. I really like this stuff. I want to sell some of your stuff online. Maybe 5 of the 10 people you walk up to will say, I don't feel like dealing with that. But the other ones might say, oh, if there's some volume there, if there's some money to be made, I'd be happy to. So look into that as well. The problem with it, the con of it is I think their base package is $250 a month, or maybe it's even $500 a month. So this will be for established brands once you've actually got the ball rolling a little bit. But allow me to blow your mind a little bit with some of this drop shipping ecosystem. So there are thousands upon thousands of drop shipping websites out there. And you, the guy who owns boatpartswholesale.com, or whatever my example was before, that's your URL, that's your domain. Who is stopping you from also having wholesale boat parts and boat parts direct and boatparts4u.com and selling those same products on all of those different domains and having multiple websites now that can be crawled by Google and multiple websites that I can work on and create products for that they can all sell similar, if not the same products. And at the end of the day, it all funnels up to you, the business owner. Furthermore, let's say that I'm talking to you and you've watched this whole segment and you said, I don't drop ship. I don't want to drop ship. Well, let's say you do have a selection of exercise equipment. In your selection of exercise equipment, you've already got the weights, you've already got the bands, but you don't have the big rack. You don't have a big cage. And you can't afford to warehouse that. You can't afford to ship that. Well, now you can have the vast majority of your stuff you can fulfill and you can ship. You can have 1 or 2 products here, 1 or 2 products there that drop ship. To the customer, it doesn't appear any different. You make sure to communicate with them well. You say, hey, these few products, they're going to get there in 3 days, and that cage is going to get there in a week, and that's just the way it is. And as long as you communicate well with the customer, they're going to have no problem with it. So what dropshipping allows you to do is expand your catalog, no matter what you sell. If you sell software, if you are like I mentioned before, you're a content brand. If you're a content brand, this now allows you to expand the things that you can make money on infinitely. Especially if you're using things like Duoplane, where you're finding your own suppliers for this kind of stuff. So what I'm saying is really consider, you can have as many domains as you want. You can drop ship as many things as you want. And to add further to that, you can be the drop shipper yourself. So you're an OEM, you're making equipment. You might want to join platforms like Spocket, and you want to become a fulfiller for somebody else to buy your stuff to get more volume. And so there's this really complex ecosystem of dropshipping where, okay, I can create a dropship store, or I can create a regular store that does dropshipping, or I can be the dropshipper over here, and I can use dropshipping in my store, and I can sell my own product all simultaneously and make money off all those things at the same time. And have 5 different domains, 10 different domains. So there's nobody stopping you from doing any of this stuff, right? And so I want you to think creatively about dropshipping. Think creatively about, okay, I'm here to create value. You need to create value, but what else can I use to add on, to easily add on, you're not tricking anybody, you're creating more value. The person that wanted to buy all of your exercise equipment, they wanted to buy that, they wanted to buy the rack, right? And so now you're providing more value from them because they can just do that all at one time instead of having to go to multiple places for it. You may be a brand that in the past you've said, okay, how about I buy online and then I recommend to you that you buy this other stuff over here after you're done buying my stuff. Well, just contact those people and say, hey, I'm going to set you up on Duoplane, and I'm going to let people check out from me, and I'm going to send you the order right off the bat, and then everybody profits, right? So think creatively about dropshipping. It's one of my favorite tools for making money online. All of the biggest stores you see out there, everybody utilizes dropshipping. Even if they have their own big catalog full of their own stuff, everybody utilizes it in some fashion, either as a dropshipper or by adding more stuff to their catalog. So just think big with this stuff. Think really big with it.